like and subscribe. Harvey moves along the corridor, feeling the wall with one hand, until he finally finds the treasure keyhole. From the outside, it looks more like an ordinary crack, and the door itself is securely hidden and invisible from afar. The girl takes out a round key with a small fin from her pocket and, after fiddling for a while, opens a secret passage in front of her, leading down. In fairness, the basement of the house never seemed to her a creepy place. On the contrary, Harvey visited him with joy, without a drop of fear. This part of the house holds many secrets. It is a pity that during his lifetime, his father constantly kept the basement under lock and key and allowed to go there only in his presence. But now Harvey owns the house, which means she can do whatever she wants. The girl looks around the room and smiles slyly. Nothing has changed here after the death of a parent. All sorts of instruments are arranged in rows along the walls, the smaller ones laid out on iron tables. The most interesting toys were made to order. In the medieval likeness, Harvey adored them the most. Here is an ordinary rack, here are huge saws with which you can cut a person in half, and here is an old set of scalpels, like that tough surgeon who could amputate a limb in a couple of minutes. Everything was planned perfectly. Ariadne, in the world Sasha, agreed that for the sake of such a thing, you can move away from the usual image of a sexy dark elf in an armored bra. A healthy orc, his name was Kostia, volunteered to portray the revived phobia of our mutual friend. We also joked that the makeup would not take so much savings. Actually, it all started with a stupid article that fears must be overcome according to the principle of knocking out a wedge with a wedge. Is your friend afraid of snakes, for example? To help him overcome his embarrassing phobia, just use a couple of garden hoses and record a snake's hiss to get him into some pretty good shock and awe. His life after that will not be the same, but the fear in it will decrease. The main thing is that the script is good and the technique does not fail. The entourage still, of course, there were, pitfalls as well. As many as two: how not to shake the health of the victim and how not to lose your own. The first one was not difficult. We all immediately thought of a candidate who was perfect. Leshik, emphasis on O. Not Lyosha or Alexei, just like that, with a hint. Lyashok was as pathologically healthy as he was cowardly. He was horrified by the cuts invented by the reptilians, the world government, and the announcers of the news channels of the disease, bad omens, scary movies, nightmares, and the like. For this reason, he was a frequent visitor to the district police officer. Therapist Irina Vitalievna, who was Alexandra's aunt. It was from her that she learned that Lyosha's boyfriend is not bad, only obsessed with his health and superstitions. Sashka even extended on the topic that because of such people the human race could soon die out completely, because they shouted it was not for you that your mother raised an eagle, and my rose did not bloom for you, fled from the free and liberated virgins, who are not alien to the simple joys of the flesh. Alexei didn't look like a cool hand-to-hand combatant either, so there was no threat to our warm company. In the corner of the room stood a wonderful portrait of my mother. The drawing depicted her laughing and young, very beautiful, and at the same time joyful. This is how everyone who knew her remembered her, although she herself seems to have thought otherwise. I didn't like him. It seemed that I wanted to take and erase this picture, but it was impossible. Hunger is the feeling that haunted me, and my position was terrible. I hate her for giving birth to me, because I have nothing to eat and nowhere to sleep. I'm lonely. The payment for the room has expired a long time ago. I haven't eaten for several weeks. The hunger was terrible and unbearable. I felt it with every fiber of my soul. Several times I almost tore the sheet on which I was lying to shreds. I wanted to eat like a drug addict after another dose. Couldn't help it. Begging did not help. The poor and the rich no longer wanted to notice me. I had a bad reputation. No one thought of me. Rejected alien, I knew that I lived in a glass bubble where no one was looking. Don't forget like and subscribe.